What's going on, people? Welcome to United View. More breaking news, man. Officially, the club have actually said it. I've said many times, I'm not going to get too excited, although I did get excited yesterday, so I'm lying. But the club have actually come out and said it is official. We have got Jadon Sancho. We've got Marcus Rashford, interacting in the comments. It's happened. It's done. It's a done deal. So I'm not really going to go back over too much over yesterday because the last video we literally done was Jadon Sancho signing. But I have to be honest. I've got to take this back. The noises coming out after this Jadon Sancho signing is very much that we're looking to move for Varane quick. And in the words of KG, maybe he's feeling different this time. Maybe it's different. Maybe he's got a point because I tell you what, everything that's coming in, hold tight, look, all the comments coming in as well. Zambia is watching, says Kawasi. Big Up Flex says Ryan Phillip. Slick Vibe on the video says Kieran Lee. Dola says yes. Mad Dog says hi Flex, Epic Channel. Big up yourselves, all of you guys, and keep your comments coming in as well. We are live as well, as you can see, so get your comments in your super chats, etc., etc. But the news that's coming in, what I like even more than the Jadon Sancho thing, because let's face it, we knew the Jadon Sancho thing was done. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in a bit. But is the immediate stuff after that. That, for me, is the key. The fact that Raphael Varane prefers a move to Manchester United. He thinks that's the best option for him. The fact that we're getting the Independent reporting that Manchester United are quickly looking to seal a deal for Raphael Varane straight after. To me, those are the noises I want to hear, because you guys know my thoughts on it. And I wasn't trying to just do the whole I told you so thing or try and just stand by my opinion and not change, because I was excited we signed Jadon Sancho. But I've always said the whole time, and I've maintained this, regardless of whether we got Sancho or not, the priority needs to be the centre-back. And the noises, because it's only noises, but strong noises, is that Raphael Varane is incoming as well, or the deal's being worked on at least. So look, we've had time to kind of calm down and take in the Jadon Sancho thing. It adds an extra bit of sauce today that the club have officially announced it. It always gives that extra little bit of signed, sealed and delivered, do you know what I mean? Even though, technically, in true Flex pessimistic style, he hasn't actually been pictured holding up the shirt yet. Like, there's not the pictures yet with Ollie round his hand signing the thing. But Man United aren't going to come out and say we've got a deal in principle to sign Jadon Sancho if we haven't. So, barring a mad Odemwingie situation, we're going to sign Jadon Sancho. He's a Man United player. And like I said yesterday, what I like about it most, right, when you skim it back to, okay, of course, we should have got him last year. It took too long. Only we can not do this. Only we could not do that. Only we could long it out. When you skim back all of that, at least we've done it early this year. That's the key for me. We've done it early this year in this transfer window. And when you do things early, you've got a chance to be able to say, you know what? Let's go for our other targets. So I'll go through some of the super chats here. Mr. B says, just imagine Sancho and Varane holding the scarf together. Didn't think of that. Surely we're not going to wait that long, but imagine, that'd be sick. Still a way to go, and I'm only waiting for the magic words, here we go, or yes, kiss. Exactly. Marcus has just made a whole new stamp of approval. Yes, a yes, kiss. And 2 signings in July, I must be dreaming, says you in black. The second isn't here yet, but if we do, yeah, 100%. And that's where you have to look at it from one point of view. One point of view is, don't forget what happened. Don't forget what the Glazers have been doing. We said, or I was saying, you can get me Mbappe, you can get me Neymar, you can get me whoever. I ain't going to forget that what you got Lee to do and how you guys need to start interacting with us and the fan ownership situation. We're not going to forget that. You can't just pull the wool over our eyes with signings. However, like KG was saying on the last show, when he was talking about Paul Pogba, which I did understand, like, if you're gonna have money around it, spend it on the players, spend it on new signings. This is what we want to see. So, of course, we ain't going to forget about the Glazers, what they've done. This is just the start. We're not just going to forget. Hence why, like we said, we need to be signing that petition to sign United, and we want ownership of the club. That still needs to happen. But you still, away from the Glazers, you still need to look at what these signings, or this signing, plus what we hope will happen, will actually do to our squad. Like I've said about Ollie many times, the only thing Ollie has going for him, in his defence, that is, okay, we've gone from 3rd to 2nd, so that's progress. But the biggest thing that he has going for him, even though there's a question mark because we haven't won anything under Ollie, is the fact that you look at the squad and you say, it's still not good enough to win the league. it's still not good enough to win the league. However, if Oli gets the signings, like we said, he needs to be backed. If he gets a centre-half in Varane, a right winger in Sancho, and my God, if we land Camavinga or a holding midfielder, you can't say fairer than that, Oli. You have to then you're looking at Oli saying, right, no excuses. Minimum next season. If we get the free signings, I think we should get, and we possibly might get, depending on the noises. If we get them free signings, I'm saying minimum win a trophy, must win a trophy, and the second non-negotiable is challenge for the league. It's challenge for the league. I know people can say, oh, you should win the league with that team. Look, Man City with their team should say we should win the league every year. Liverpool with their team could say, you never have a down, like an outright devour right to win the league. But if you have a strong squad, I believe if you perform to what you should perform to with what your squad is, you have a right to say we're challenging. By March, April, we're still thereabouts and we're in a proper title race or have an amazing season and run away with it. But those are the non-negotiables for me. If Oli gets what he needs. Vikram says, so happy to get players in before pre-season, 100%. And that's another thing about this, where although we kind of have to park last year where it was, and I know that sounds weird because you're basically saying, well, Flex, you can't just act like that didn't happen. I think we kind of do need to act like that didn't happen, because the fact that we knew we was going to come back in for him this year and we've done it quick, that helps. That helps. Like Vikram saying there, to get players in early before pre-season is key. Varane's out now of the tournament. You could argue that Jadon Sancho's out of the tournament because he ain't even playing. But, you know what I mean? Like, these players are available to get got. Pogba's out now, so let's work on that. Are we keeping him? Are we selling him? If not, sell him, get the P's. Let's reinvest. There's so long left in the transfer window. Do you know what I mean? We've got all of July, and whatever part of August. Don't even know when it finishes, but I think it might even be the end of August. I'm not sure. But we've got a long time, at least a couple of months. So that's a positive. You can't say that's not a positive. That is a very big positive. Make sure you guys hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe, peeps. As you can see there, United View on the mods. We hit 50,000 yesterday. I think we're nearly on 52,000. It's insane. The road to 100k has officially started. I feel like if and when we hit 100k, just to have like a big party or something, that doesn't even make sense to me, the United View being on 100k, but I'm sure we'll get there. We'll read out some of you guys' comments. I'd really like to use some youth players getting a firmer place in the first team, says Ashutosh. That's an interesting one, because what does happen to Ahmed now we've got Sancho? What does happen to Mason Greenwood? What does happen to what other youngsters we've got coming through who are actually there or thereabouts? Tuanzebe's going to go. McTominay's not a youngster anymore. That's pretty much it. Dan James, you class him as a youngster? Not really. I think he'll still compete with Marcus Rashford on the left-hand side. Maybe one of them might get loaned out. Maybe Ahmad might get a loan. I don't know. That's going to be the interesting thing to see as well. How do we play Mason Greenwood? Are we going to say, right, Mason, you're going to compete with Cavani when he's not playing up front. You're going to play there. Are you going to say to Martial, actually, mate, the season before last, you was sick up front. But now we've got Cavani and we're trying to progress Mason. You're going to be playing back on the left now, interchanging with Martial. We got options, innit? We got options. All it does is make our attacking options stronger. But I will stand by what I said. Just this one signing by itself is not enough. It's not enough. We've got to go and get what we need. But we've given ourselves every chance of doing that. Let's see if we can get to 1,000 people watching live as well, guys, by the way. We're at about 800. If we can push that up, man. Tell a friend, get sharing. I'll tell you what as well, this is going to be an interesting discussion. I was reading just before I come on that they were saying how Ed Woodward was a massive part of this deal, which I dare say he was. He was negotiating last year, and obviously before he leaves, he would have been part of this. Ed Woodward is part of this deal, and it's a good deal for Man United. One thing I do say, when we signed Bruno, okay, Maguire, we were saying the price was way too high. The Wan-Bissaka, 150 million, not bad. Bruno's fee was quite cheap considering. What else now? Ahmad, 30, 40 million. But when you get deals like this that are massive deals, like i.e. the Jadon Sancho deal, and it gets done and you think, well, this time last year we would have paid 120 million. We've waited a year. Probably not. Well, actually, was it calculated? I'll ask you lot. Was it a situation of they were incompetent last year, or did Man United just stick to their guns? I think that's a valid question to ask. My opinion is, I think they thought they could bully Dortmund. I do think that. They thought that Dortmund weren't being serious and weren't going to keep their word about the price. But there are other people out there saying you know what? We might, dislike Ed Woodward for how he runs certain things, etc., and John Murtough and Matt Jarger, whoever, the people making the decisions for transfers. But if you look at it from a club standpoint, we've paid like 40 million less a year later and ended up finishing second. So really, the gamble kind of worked, even if it was by accident. Do you see what I'm saying? Ketten says, down to Fletcher, Murtough getting deals done ASAP. Well, you know what? I was reading that, like I just said before I come on air, it was basically saying that Ed Woodward was part of this. But how much do you think the new setup was part of it? Because one thing when Fletcher got given the job and when Murtough was, I don't think that's been officially actually said yet, but John Murtough kind of coming in and stepping in underneath Ed Woodward to do deals. We were saying, well, we're going to have to just wait and see whether this actually does make us be ruthless at deals. This is the first transfer window since we've had those changes. This is the first one since we've had those changes. And really, the first deal has been executed quite quickly. I just think it's important to criticise when to criticise, which is fine, and you should do that. But when something is done quite quickly and it helps us and puts us in a good position, you have to recognise that too, and I think that's what's happened here. Bill Ingram says, big up Bill Ingram, I always see you contributing and in the chat as well. Says, Dortmund is going to sue Southgate if Sancho starts every game from now onwards. Yeah, 100%. I could definitely see that happening. I've read that super chat already. And We Love Football says, Flex, who would your ideal CDM be apart from Ndidi? Well, the Camavinga links are obviously clearly very strong. And I like him a lot. I mean, some people argue that he can't play there. I think he can, from what I've seen of him, which is, I admit, isn't loads, but where I've seen him, he can travel well with the ball, but I've seen him come from deep positions, he's intercepted play, he's breaking up play, he's very combative, he's very strong, he's good in the tackle. I think and he's young, and he's a very, very high prospect. I think if we can get him, I'd be happy with that. In Declan Rice, again, you lot may laugh at me. People have been laughing at me saying, Flex, no chance. You know what you're talking about, you're clueless. I'm saying, I just think I saw an article today that Declan Rice is valued at 100 million. 100 million for Declan Rice. 100 million. Nah. Don't get me wrong, we've had our pants pulled down by paying over the odds for players in general before. I get that. 100 million. That means you're telling me, because Scott McTominay's free, obviously, because he come through the youth rank, you're telling me that Declan Rice is 100 million times better than McTominay. And I don't really see that, if I'm deadly honest with you. Look at them both getting around the pitch. They both can do that. Strong in the tackle. They both can do that. Passing. Okay, you might say Declan Rice, but Declan Rice is different coming to Man United from West Ham, right? And then you're saying to Declan, it's on you to penetrate the lines. It's on you to hit that forward pass and do that, bring that Carrick-esque. It's a different ball game. So for me, I just think we just need to be really careful with that one. I think everyone loves Rice. You're going to have to pay mad English tax on that. And for me, he's a player that is good, but I'm personally, I'm not saying he's light years ahead of Scott McTominay. Light years. He might be a little bit better, but I don't think he's light years. So it's interesting to see that. 10 minutes behind my bad, says Nico Christian. Yep, there you go. McTominay couldn't pass wind, says Skiripus 123. And that's what I'm saying. Declan Rice might be a little bit better than him on the ball, but is he levels in terms of, when he's on the ball, attacks are initiating, he's passing between the lines very quickly, he's zinging it 30 yards, 40 yards right into man's path, into his feet. I don't know, I see Declan Rice keep the ball ticking over and make sensible passes. He's a good player. But the other side of his game, and the combative side, getting about the pitch, getting in people's faces, being strong in the tackle, maybe positionally he's a little bit better, a little bit more disciplined, but I don't see a huge dip. I don't see £100 million difference. If you used to say to me, would I take Declan Rice for 50 million, 60 million, yeah, I think that's a fair upgrade on Scott McTominay at that price. But for £100 million, no chance. You can't tell me, look at Leicester signing people like Samari. Like, I know it's a bit different, but just the value in the market. Like, and I know you can say, yeah, but that's for Leicester Flex. Well, no, it's not just for that, because when we play them, sometimes they play us off the park. Like, there's value out there if you find it. It doesn't every minute have to be the latest English prospect, £100 million. No, especially when you've got someone like McTominay, who I think is just a different type of mold to Declan Rice, just a little bit worse. Do you know what I mean? I really do. High Flex, big up yourself, says Ben Hickman. Money saved on Sancho deal plus Lingard, says Anish Joshi. And Bloomberg says, if Rice was Irish, he would be 30 million. 100% agree with that. And Connect Real says Rice is a £50 million player. And Facts, no chance, 100 million, says Mamba. If Rice stayed Irish, it would be only 30 million. And I kind of get the gist of what you guys are saying. David Lee, one of the most, says like, share, and subscribe as well. Let's make sure we're doing that. We have over 1,000 people watching live as well, which is dope. Can we get the likes up as well? How many likes we got? We've got, I haven't even refreshed it, but we've got a lot. How many we got? We have 370. Come on, guys. There's over 1,000 of you watching, so let's get the likes up as well. Back into the live chat. On your opinion, do you think we will get Varane, says Van Gate K. I see a clear path to Varane. I see a clear path that I didn't think I saw before. I was worried when he was coming out of Real Madrid because, like what you're reading in the reports, you've got to be a bit sceptical because you see the garden path we've been down with Raphael Varane. We've seen that happen loads. You've got to be careful because is he just using us for a new contract? You know, but with Varane, with Ramos potentially going to PSG, I think that takes it out of the equation for Varane to go there. And with a lot of noise coming out that Varane definitely won't stay, definitely won't sign a new deal, and wants to come to Manchester United now. And on top of that, the talk of Man United wanting to get this deal done quick. I think we've got a good chance of getting Varane. I really do. I proper hope so, man. I freaking hope so because. Honestly, I just think he'll be the icing on the cake. And if we do sign him, I probably in a weird way will be more excited than signing Sancho. I know that sounds weird. Maybe it's a personal thing because it'll be one of the ones where I will die on the sword. I will fall on the sword if it doesn't work out. If we do, say we get him and it don't work out, which I can't see happening because I think he's proper. But if it happens and then everyone's like, Fleck, you wanted him for ages, I'd have to just hold my hands up and say, yeah, man, I really thought it would work. But I am that convinced that Raphael Varane is the right man for us. He's the perfect age. It's the perfect time in his career. It's the perfect time for us when we're on the lookout. And the price, I still can't believe it's 50 million. It's going to be 50 million for Ben White. And what's he, 21, 22? I get that. But he's going to go for 50 million. He isn't even a quarter of the player that Varane is. And that's because he's early in his career. I understand that. But he's just not. So if that's the going rate for him, then go and get him. Adam Simon says, Athletic reporting there's no substantial funds left for more signings. And any Varane deal could be in doubt. Loving the channel flex. There you go. So I haven't seen that report myself. But that's what I mean. We do need outgoings as well. I think the outgoings, I think there's still money left to get Varane, 50 million. Because what we spent, 70 million, best part of 77 million on Jadon Sancho, and that's going to be in instalments over however many years. It ain't going to just be 70 million out of the budget now. So I don't know the exact what they're putting up front. But within letting Lingard go to West Ham, maybe Dalot getting a permanent move, Pereira 20 million, whatever. Romero, I think his contract's up actually. Phil Jones, Jesus. We should be able to raise another 30, 40 million, easy. We could, off of sales, I think we could afford 50 million. You let Jesse Lingard go for what, 30 million? Dalot for 20 million. There's your 50 million there. Even add on an extra 15 million for Pereira. 65 million just raised in 4 seconds. If I can do it in 4 seconds, they can do it in real life. Tabarez says, keep up the good work, Flex. Glazers and Ollie out against Ollie. I think this is a real big season for Ollie. I do. I think, especially now we've got Sancho, especially if we get the sign, as we said, like I said at the beginning of the video, it's very much so over to you, Ollie. Not quite yet, because if we don't get centre half and we don't get central mid, if we don't get the other two, especially not even another one, and it's just Sancho, I'll be honest. I'll be deadly honest with you. I don't see how we do any better than last year. In fact, I don't even think we'll finish second. I don't, because I just feel like the other teams will kick on and get better. Chelsea will get better. Liverpool will get better. And the jump that we need to make to go from second to first, which is what we want, it isn't just Jadon Sancho, in my opinion. It ain't. At best return, we could probably have another decent season and maybe finish second. But I don't think we compete for the league with those centre-backs. I definitely don't think that. 100 million, LK says 100 million budget, 50 up front for Sancho, 50 for Varane, raise the rest for a CDM. I agree with that. Sell Fred, says Keith Long. We'd be interested to see who goes out. And what's going to happen with Paul Pogba? Like I spoke a little bit about yesterday and was more breaking towards the end of the day. Pogba getting linked with PSG. It's going to be very interesting to see how that pans out. It really is, because in the midfield area, McTominay, Matic, Fred, Pogba, Bruno don't really count because he's the number 10. That's 4, isn't it? That's 4 in there. Matic, McTominay, Fred, Pogba. Yeah, that's 4. And you can't, I wouldn't include Bruno in that. And Donny. But where do you include Donny in the squad? Jesus Christ. But that's technically 5 who can play in that position, yeah? There's 5 there. I know we need to bring in a central defensive midfielder to start, but one of Fred, McTominay, Van der Beek, Pogba, Matic even, someone needs to go because then it's just too top heavy. I agree with that. Shanesti says, Flex, can you clarify how the transfer payments typically work? Sky reported that the 73 million is being paid over 4 years. I can confirm that. I am not a football analyst. I am not a financer. I am not in the know because someone told me, because I pretend that I'm not that, yeah? I just know what I read and get a feel for it, just like you guys do. So I ain't gonna go into it like I know and chat shit. But my understanding is that, like what Sky said, it's 73 million to be paid in installments over the 4 years. So it's not like we're just gonna give them 60 million now and then 13 million in the next 3 years. That's not gonna happen. I suppose it'll probably be, 4 even chunks, and then whatever the add-ons are if we win the league, or if Sancho gets Ballon d'Or, or if he scores this amount of goals or that amount of goals. There'll be loads of little add-ons like that as well. Super chat from Sam says, is it normal that wow, big super chat as well. Big up, Sam. I really appreciate that. Is it normal that I'm not even that excited about the Sancho signing? They milked it way too hard and our priorities have shifted more to the back. Yeah, I think that is normal that you're not that excited. You're not the only one. Don't get me wrong. I think when you get a signing as big as Sancho, you want to enjoy it. And us at Man United, when there's going to be a big signing, it's the worst kept secret in football. It always is. Whether it's Harry Maguire, we knew we was in for him. It doesn't just happen. Bruno, we knew we was chasing. When it was Paul Pogba, it was a saga. Like it always, that's just what we do. But to answer your question, do I think it's normal? I do think it's normal because it's something that should have happened last year. It's something that reignited and it took ages and ages and ages. And on top of that, you're right. Our priority is the back line. Our priority is centre half. So, in my opinion, you lot might not agree. Let me know what you think yours is. You might say you don't mind having the same centre backs if you get a different CDM and spend more money on that. But I just think with Varane being available at 50 million, like I just said, Sam, that is what we got to do. Kaplan's S says, I'm excited but not mind blown. 1 down, more to come. That's a good way of looking at it. And that's not ungrateful. Do you know what I mean? That's not ungrateful. I think you have to say, you know what? It's not ungrateful to say that because we know we need more. We can't just get so gassed off Sancho that we forget what we need. Do you know what I'm saying? You can't. So, everyone eats off the deal. I mean, we got to give City some money. I think they get like 8 million. I think Watford, who are the real ones who actually started Sancho on his career, big up to them. That they get like 2.something million, 2.1 million or something like that. That's going to help them. And Sancho's always very complimentary of what they did to help him. So we need to remember that. These players, I saw even Saka started at Watford. I was like, what? That's crazy. So, you know what I mean? A lot of these other clubs, you look at QPR. QPR never really get the flowers for Raheem Sterling. Do you know what I mean? So you look at a lot of like smaller clubs and they always they play their role. They play their role, man. So big up to them. But everyone's going to eat off this deal, and Dortmund are obviously going to eat the nicest. It'd be interesting to see who they get. Not that I really care, but just out of curiosity, I want to know. Flex, why are people saying we need 4 or 5? We just need, says Alex Gordon, says we just need 4 or 3 players: Sancho, CDM, centre back, and a right back. Yeah, I'd probably agree with that. How many did you say? 3 to 4 players. Yeah, I don't think we need 4 or 5. Look, to get to City's complete level, maybe 4 or 5, because that's basically saying the bench is almost as good as the first team. But if you think about it, we're going to play the same formation. I can't see us changing it. If you have Pogba and a CDM, so that's 1 extra player. Bruno can stay where he is, he's fine. Cavani can stay where he is, he's fine. Sancho, which is one of the others, so that's 2 players. Centre half to play next to Maguire. The rest of the team stays where it is. Wan-Bissaka, Shaw stay where they are. Rashford / Martial on the left / Dan James, so that's no new signings there. We still got Ahmad as well, who can play left and right. And the 4th one, I think it was Alex says, big up Alex. The 4th one is saying that it's the backup right back. I do agree. Sophia's Football Talk, she says, I personally don't have a problem with having a big squad. Look at City, major squad depth. Oli needs to rotate a lot more though. 100% Sophia, I agree with you. That's a really good point. I've been saying I want strength in depth in every position. I want specialists in their position. So I don't want someone who can play there, but we're going to play him here because he's just versatile. No, I want specialists in their positions. And I want squad depth. And I think by adding, that's why there's a massive positive about Sancho. Because say Sancho can't play one game, you're bringing in Greenwood. Vice versa. Rashford can't play one game, you're bringing in Martial. Cavani can't play, you put Greenwood. You know, you're really starting to build something there. And that is what is massively important. Nearly 1.5K watching as well. Can we push that up? Let's get the likes up as well. Smash a like on the video. See, can we get a couple thousand watching? Maybe that's being a bit too optimistic, but maybe we can. Make sure you guys share the video. Write my previous chat, says Shanesti. If instalments are being paid, then does that not enable a bigger transfer budget year on year? It kind of can. It kind of can. Obviously, it's like, I don't know, if you get an expense of a car and you know you need to pay this much in instalments or you need to pay this much, you might come into some money further down the line, but you still can't forget you need to pay for the car. Do you know what I'm saying? So in one way, yes. And then if you win stuff along the line of that, or you make more money as the club should do, number 7, etc., that's a situation where, yeah, of course it can. Of course it can, because you don't have to, right now, you don't have to spend that 77 million now. So although we have the 100 million pot, right now 77 million hasn't just come out of that pot. Do you know what I mean? Right now, maybe 30 million's come out now as the first year, then another 30 the next year. Do you know what I'm saying? And then another, 20 the next year. Something like that. So I see your point there, you're right. By paying in installments, which is, look, we laughed when, who was it? When Arsenal did it with Pepe, we're saying it's in installments. Really, it's tongue-in-cheek because all transfers are done like that. Very rarely do people go and slap straight up 85 million straight out of my pocket, straight into your bank with no form of add-ons or no form of, once it gets past this point, you get this. It's like a game. You get to certain points, you unlock certain stuff, and then you get the next level. But you need a certain amount of fee up front. So yeah, that I agree with what you're saying there. Super chat here from Livon as well says, I just want to say I was gutted when you left the United stand. It's not the same, but I watch you both now and love the Flex and KG. So big up, man. I appreciate that. New beginnings, man. New beginnings. We moved on. And Sheldon says flex, flex, flex. And let me make sure I've read that super chat as well, which I have. And another one here says, from Mr. Beast says, with depth, we can rest 4 injuries, cough, cough, Rashford. 100%. On next season, hopefully Rashford takes the time out to go and short his shoulder out. He might be late back in because of it. But Martial, step up. Cavani's in the Copa America. They might go deep into that. We'll have to see what he does. And Mason Greenwood, he came out of England because he wanted to sort out his injury. So Martial and Sancho, because Sancho ain't really played much football in the summer, let's face it, he ain't gonna. On Saturday, I don't think he's going to play. And if we get deep into the tournament, I can't see him changing it and bringing in Sancho from nowhere. Southgate's got his crop of players like Saka, Grealish is the first to come in. He's going to want to get Mount back in there. Might even go to Rashford before he goes to Sancho. So I don't even think Sancho's going to get any minutes from now to the end of the tournament. So he's going to be well rested and needs to have a good season. And Prince says not 77 million, but 73 and no add-ons. Okay, fair play. And Pravjeen says, big up Flex. Parab from FPL sings back again. What standard of goal contribution should be set for Sancho in his first season? 20 question mark. On average, he's getting high teens every year. He's getting 17 to 20 assists pretty much every year. Is it unrealistic to expect that straight away? New league, new surroundings, but he is English. He's been around the man. It's not like he doesn't know about what England's about, but he still doesn't play in this league week in, week out. Do you know what I mean? So I think with a new signing, no matter who it is, no matter how dead certain you think it is going to be that they're going to hit the ground running, me personally, I still give them a little bit of leeway in their first season. I don't care who you are. You know, Bruno, look what he came and done. We didn't expect that, but not everyone can do that. You know, sometimes people need a little while to get running. That's not saying I expect him to be shocking and finish the season with only 4 assists, but to expect 20 straight away, I think that's a bit. As long as it's double figures, I'm happy. I'd say 10 to 15 in his first season. If he gets better than that, then it's almost seamless from Dortmund to here. And goals-wise, he usually gets kind of like double figures goals as well, 12 to 18. But in his first season with us, again, if he can just get any form of double figures goals and double figures assists, I'm happy. And if he's not scoring, then I hope he's contributing, and I'm happy with that as well. Guys, thanks for watching. There you go. That's your latest transfer Man United transfer news updates. Sancho's officially signed. Yes, we knew it yesterday, but the club have actually officially said it. And the hunt is on for Rafael Varane. He's going to be my guy. Like, I will be championing him, you know what I'm saying, if he comes. Anyway, guys, smash a like on the video. The road to 100K is on. And I will see you guys all again very, very soon. Peace.